What if I told you there was plants that walk and build islands and give live birth to babies? Well, he thinks it's funny. Today we're on the trail of mangroves. So here I am in sunny, hot, muggy, buggy South Florida. Why am I down here? Because this is the only place you can come in the United States that I know of where you can really talk about mangrove habitat and actually have it mean something. So, welcome to the mangrove habitat. Now, the first species that we're going to talk about is the white mangrove. The white mangrove is much different from its other two cousins. It's going to live in a drier area way inland, not really on the coast at all, although we're still considered coastal in this area, but you would not, looking around where we are, you would not think we're on the coast. It has a whitish color bark, a little bit different color bark than the other ones. It still grows. This actually grows like 60 feet high. This is much larger than the other mangroves, but its leaves are very oval. They're much shorter and they're oval, and they have this very special design. That is, at the base of each leaf, there are two glands, and those glands are there to remove salt from the plant. And that's the key characteristic of identifying the white mangrove compared to not only other mangroves, but also similar plants, similar trees, such as the button tree or button bush. The black mangrove gets its name black because of that exceptionally dark bark. You can see that big trunk in the background as it grows up in the middle of another mangrove, the red mangrove, which we'll talk about in a minute. The leaves of a black mangrove are also very different. They're similar to the white mangrove in the fact that they're kind of small, but look how pointy they are, and they lack the glands at the base of the leaf. What they do instead to get rid of the salt is they literally push it out onto the surface of the leaf. No glands, the whole leaf itself eliminates the salt. So these plants have definitely learned not to drink the seawater. Yeah, it's good stuff. They are designed very well for this habitat. Another characteristic of the black mangrove are these pneumatophores, like this one right here, this one right here. These pneumatophores, these provide oxygen to the roots. These roots are under such thick, mucky junk, if you will. The environment that they live in, they can't get any oxygen, and therefore they would die. Just like any other organism, plants can drown. Well, these pneumatophores help the roots of the black mangrove to breathe. And they are everywhere underneath a black mangrove. So we've moved from the higher, drier habitats where the white mangrove lives into the marshy, mucky habitats of the black mangrove, into finally the water itself. This is the habitat of the red mangrove. And the red mangrove is the stereotypical mangrove. It is the most abundant in the whole South Florida area as far as the three mangroves. And its key characteristic are those roots right there. Let me show you how they form and why it makes the red mangrove so incredible. All right, so here we are. These are the mangroves. Notice that coming off the stem are these longer roots like this. These long roots. Notice that these roots come off. They will then branch off. Once they make contact with the mud, they will sink down. These prop roots, like this one starting off right here, these prop roots will come off from the plant, sometimes from the limbs coming down, sometimes just off the trunk, sometimes even off other roots. And whenever they sink down, they will put down more roots. From these will grow up another plant that will then put down more roots. and this plant will slowly walk itself around into the environment. Notice that wherever these plants are, soil collects around the base of their roots and plants begin to grow up. These roots prevent erosion. Even during times of storms like hurricanes and things like that, they prevent erosion. And so they gather the soil, that gathers in, gives grasses and other plants a place to root and grow. And once they root and grow, it literally creates little islands. And that's why the whole area off the southwestern coast of Florida is called 10,000 Islands. It's really not a whole bunch of islands. It's a whole bunch of these mangrove clumps that have just gathered in so much soil and sediment. When these leaves fall to the ground, they will decompose and add to the richness of the soil. It's just this amazing habitat. In the water, these roots provide protection for all kinds of not only salt marsh creatures, but also reef creatures and ocean creatures that will spend its young life in and around these roots for protection before they go out as adults into the ocean. These are just amazing, amazing plants, amazing habitat. I can't say enough about them. They're just amazing. So what is it about these plants? Very, very different structures, different strategies for survival, different habitats that they live in, and yet they're all mangroves. So what is it about these plants that links them together? Well, scientifically speaking, they engage in viviparous propagation by producing promagules. Okay, so in English, it means they give live birth to babies, little baby plants. The flowers don't make seeds or fruit like other plants do. They actually produce another plant that's alive, that has its own DNA and everything. They literally produce babies. It's fantastic. Let me show you. When the flowers are pollinated, they will produce these little tiny pups that when they're long enough and mature, will pop off and fall into the water. They will then float along in the water until they find a suitable area to come to rest. When they do, they will begin to push down roots and push up leaves. And the next thing you know, you've got a new mangrove. The mangrove habitat, absolutely one of the most amazing places, just incredible. I mean, think about it. Plants that give live birth, plants that walk across the water and build islands and provide habitat for ocean creatures as well as saltmarsh creatures. This is probably one of the most amazing habitats here, at least in the southeast United States. This place is just amazing. I hope at some point you get a chance to come down here to South Florida and explore this place on your own. It will be worth the price of admission, I promise. I hope you have a great day. This is Gregg Thompson. I'll see you on the trail.